Hi, everybody. I hope you all had a good day and you all had a good time following up on the R. Kelly story that I was reading yesterday. So I didn't want to skip another day before bringing the continuation, so I might as well just continue reading from page 25. So I'll just go straight to the last paragraph on page 25, then I'll continue from there. Okay. After sex sessions, we always had long, intimate talks. We talked about our dreams, fears, past, family, pain. We sang together. We even prayed together. We both came from dysfunctional backgrounds. Learning about his past was heartbreaking, and even back then, I could see how the trauma he experienced molded him into the man he was, and having some of the deeper things in common with him is what drew me deeper into him. I trusted him with everything, and he trusted me. Okay? All right. Showdown, car sex on the south side. That's another chapter, or the title of another chapter. So I wanted to surprise Daddy and do something to let him know I was serious about him. I was so touched by everything he shared with me about his past, and I wanted him to feel safe and secure with me. I wanted him to know I wasn't going anywhere, and that I could be that I wouldn't be like everyone in his past. So I went to this dude I knew who graduated a few years before me and got Diddy's name tattooed on me. Wow. It was cute, small, intimate, and sexy, right under my left boob. I couldn't wait to show him. Daddy wasn't answering or respond. Daddy hadn't answered or responded all day. I'm sorry. I was growing bored. My days and nights had really become about him. I didn't really have hobbies or many friends anymore. All I ever did these days was spend time with him, but I also knew he had an agenda to keep. I tried not to blow him up, but just sitting in the house wasn't in the tarot cards for me these days. So I figured I would go chill on the block, catch up with some old friends, or go by my cousin's house. I'd been so caught up with Daddy, I knew she probably felt neglected. I could just I could just hear Keisha now. Okay, so I could just hear Keisha now. Uh, bitch, don't come over here now. You don't do me no more. Okay, so I probably just like in Keisha's voice, kind of. Yeah, I could use a few laughs, so a pop up and some girl talk was what I decided on. I remembered it like it was yesterday. I was a hot mess. Summer day. Wow. Ugh. Okay, I think they had some editing issues with this book, but we'll just have to go with it. I put on a tank top with no bra, some denim, really short, really short jean shorts for those who aren't familiar, and some cute sandals. I told my grandma I was headed up my cousin, and I would call when I got there. While walking, a million niggas must have stopped me trying to hold her, but I kept on moving. Daddy was the only man on my mind. There was nobody better than him in my eyes. When I was close to Keisha's, I saw a black truck that looked like Daddy's. When I got closer, I peeped the tag and realized it was Daddy's truck. I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck is his truck doing parked in the south side? I peeked in to see what I could see through the tint, and what I saw had me seeing red. What the fuck? All I remember was opening the door and beating Keisha's ass so bad she was covered in blood. The nerve of this bitch, no, the nerve of his ass. Now Keisha is the cousin to this girl who is writing this book. So actually Keisha is the one who bought the tickets to R. Kelly's show, and then this girl has been having an affair with R. Kelly, only to find out that Keisha was in R. Kelly's car after trying to call R. Kelly to hook up with him and everything. Oof. Chicago people, man. Okay. All I could do was cry. I felt so stupid for believing all the shit he told me. He didn't he didn't fucking love me. He kept grabbing me, saying he was sorry. I didn't want to hear shit. I slapped the fuck out of him and told him to go tell the bitch he was sorry. Whoa. Thank God the nigga I knew from around the way was driving down the alley. I waved him down, hopped in and dipped. There was nothing left to say. Far more. Okay, so this is the next chapter. Back home, I just couldn't stop crying. I had no one to talk to, so I started a journal. I couldn't believe them. I didn't know who to be angrier with. She knew everything. She was the only person I told everything about him to. She knew how I felt about him and that he was my first. I felt so dumb. Now here I was with this fucking tattoo wanting to surprise this asshole, thinking he was serious about us. I just felt humiliated and used. I started to question everything. Did he really care? Was I a mess? Daddy was blowing me up every day and all night. He left voicemails and even sang to me on some of them. Whew. Now I couldn't just let him get away with it. I don't care how much I missed him. After school, I went straight home. I avoided all of his usual routes to make sure I didn't bump into him. After 2 weeks of this, I was home one day and then there was a knock at the door. My nana answered and I heard Rob's voice. Wow, the nerve of that nigga. He actually went to that girl's grandma's house. Ooh. Okay. Where did I end? Okay, I heard Rob's voice. I was terrified. I hadn't told my grandma anything about us dating and I didn't know how she would take him showing up. I heard him introduce himself and I heard my grandma screaming and laughing, saying she knew who he was. I heard him tell her that he had been talking to me for quite some time now and was afraid to talk to her about us because of the age gap, but he assured her his intentions were good and his feelings were genuine. He told her he respected my mind and body and that he had not and did not plan to attempt anything physical until we got married. Eh? This liar somebody, this are killing. I stood there listening to all this bullshit through the door. He was so charming and a master fucking manipulator. Of course he is. Lies were always flying out of his damn mouth. My grandma must have given him her blessings because she called me and said Robert was here. Wild blushing. Okay. This shouldn't have surprised me. My nana was old school and my grandfather was 21 years her senior prior to his passing away. Oh wow, so she could as well just go with her being with R. Kelly, I guess. All I could do was roll my eyes. I figured he must have been desperate if he risked coming here, knowing she couldn't disapprove of us talking. I stood by the wall and said, "What?" with an attitude. My grandma actually got on me and said, "Girl, don't be rude. Go outside and talk to this man." Okay, let me take a break. You know how it is with how people can actually manipulate you, how people can actually play with your emotions and everything, actually play with your mind. Like, these are typical mind games. I mean, I'm very sure that a lot of us out there must have experienced things like this. You know, like you can be in a relationship and you and the person have some kind of issues, and then they'll go out of their way to do just exactly like what R. Kelly did. Who would have thought that he would go to the young girl's grandma's house just to find her? You know, when people make gestures like that, it makes the other person think that, oh, this is the ultimate, oh, this man is in love with me, oh, this man can't do without me and everything. But most times they know exactly what they're doing. They know that if I pull this on this girl, she's going to fall right back and want to be with me. So I mean, it could have happened to anybody. I mean, I know that there are lots of people out there who are bashing these girls and saying that, oh, they all went there for the money and everything, for the fame, they wanted to be rich, oh, they manipulated them and everything. It can happen to anybody. It could have happened to me. I mean, because okay, just imagine you have a regular boyfriend. When I say regular, like not somebody that's a celebrity or a popular person, but you can just have a boyfriend and he will be doing some wrong things, and your friends will be telling you, you know what, you know that this guy is cheating on you, and this guy, these things he's saying are lies, but you just keep supporting him and just believing and going on with the relationship. So what more of R. Kelly? That is a celebrated somebody, you know. That's my own thing. So you all can still think about what you want to think about. So okay, let's continue. I rolled my eyes, put on my slides, and headed out the door. I couldn't believe her. Rob smiled all the way until we got into his truck and he locked the doors. Then he popped me in my mouth. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you? I know you saw me calling your ass. After doing all these sissy things. Okay. I couldn't believe him. This bitch really had popped me in my mouth. All I could do was hold my mouth in shock. Then he apologized and said he was sorry. But I pissed him off. I sat there for 30 good seconds holding my face, and then I attacked his ass. These people. Sorry. I just kept hitting him and crying, screaming, my cousin, my fucking cousin. Over and over again, he grabbed me by the throat and slammed me into the passenger seat window. Yeah. He's even abused, like... Anyway, I said, chill. That's R. Kelly now. I couldn't fucking breathe, and it felt like he was gonna break every bone in my neck with that one hand. So I stacked. He let me go and said, you still on this bullshit. I say, get out of my truck. Get out of my truck. I was fuming on the inside. How dare he? But you know what? I fixed my fucking hair, wiped my tears, and told him to unlock the fucking door so I could get out. Then he got mad about that talking. Huh? Then he got mad about that talking about I wasn't going no fucking where. Oh, okay. We get it. Like I said, the book has its issues. I'll be lying if I said I wasn't happy to hear him say that, but I was still angry about the whole shit. He told me that he came to apologize and tell me that he ended shit with my cousin. He told me that what he had was more important. What we had was more important than her sucking his dick, because that was all it was. I would be lying if I said I wasn't relieved to hear that, but looking back, I forgave his ass too easy. As soon as he said that, I jumped on him and kissed him. We had sex right in my nana's driveway. I couldn't wait for him to strip me. Then he saw the tattoo. He went crazy. He was so happy. He asked me to come live with him. I couldn't believe it. Without even thinking, I said yes. Shit was so dysfunctional. Okay. Be careful. My first night meeting with Diddy's other girls, I got into a fight. I think his little runners were even shook. I heard one of them whisper to the other, oh, he got his hands full with this little bitch. And I didn't give a fuck. Like, what the fuck did he really think? You think I'm just gonna sit here and let this whole lie on me because she's fucking jealous? Then sit here and let you fucking check me on some retarded ass shit. This hoe told you and tried to put your hands on me. This nigga had me fucked up. Okay, I guess they're gonna explain this chapter, cause this paragraph, because I don't understand myself. We fought all night that night. I told 3 of his little friends, runners or whatever they called them niggas, to get me off that bitch, and I was climbing the motherfucking walls to get out of that grip. So you'll hear me. That's when dumb ass showed up, snatched me up, dragged me by my hair to another room with me kicking and screaming, slapped the fuck out of me and pinned me to the wall. I couldn't breathe. I was fucking breathing hard, sweating and fuming. I can hear this bitch now asking me what the fuck is wrong with me and why did I do that to my sister? And why did you do that to my sister? My sister, I screamed. This nigga was delusional. This nigga was delusional. Oh my God, I don't know what's wrong with me today. This nigga was delusional. That bitch was no fucking sister of mine. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. And that At that point, I really didn't know what the fuck I had walked into, but I was out. I'd never been called stupid and bitch so many times. He told me to straighten my face, and I screamed hell no and spat in his face. Oh my god. I thought for his eyes got so big, I thought for sure he was gonna kill me. He slapped me so fucking hard, my nose bled. I jumped on top of him and tried to rip his fucking eye sockets out. His fucking eye sockets out. I punched him, I beat him, I was gonna fucking kill him, yo. I had him good. He couldn't get me off him. I was tired as fuck, but I couldn't stop because I was scared he was gonna kill me for sure at this point. I had him so good too. He started screaming for them to come in and help him. And once they got me off him, he slapped me till I was fucking dizzy. He yelled at me to leave and pinned me down on the floor. I kept crying and screaming that I hated him and that he better not let me fucking lose because I was gonna kill him. What he did next, I honestly didn't expect. With one arm, he had me pinned down on the floor, and with the other, he stripped me naked. He kissed and licked on every inch of my body, starting with my neck, my cheeks, eventually my lips, and found his way down and in between my thighs. I was still fighting at first, but this motherfucker, oh my god. I was still fighting at first, but he was so passionate. I think my body gave in before my mind could catch up. I was gushing. I was so fucking wet. I was mad. I was turned on. I wasn't going anywhere, and he knew it. He ate my pussy for what felt like an eternity, and I loved every minute of it. He kept telling me he was sorry for not believing me and he loved me. He kept calling me daddy's baby, saying I had a tantrum, but daddy knew just how to fix that. He said I needed to be beat, and he knew just what kind I needed. He sat up and pulled his dick out. I don't think I'd ever seen it so big. He was super hard. He fucked me like he had never fucked me before. There was no instruction this time. He just fucked me and gave me more and more dick, and we finished off. And when he finished me off, he took a long deep stroke and fed my pussy all his babies. Then grabbed me so tight around my throat, I couldn't breathe. Looked me in my eyes and told me if I ever put a stunt like what I did that night, he'll kill me. He laid on top of me, staring me dead in my eyes. So I knew he meant business. Stuck his tongue down my throat, kissed me, and said, "You better be lucky daddy can't get enough of this pussy." I was shook. Hi, my God, this girl. Okay, dedicated. That's the next chapter. The next morning, daddy booked me a huge suite, and we acted as if nothing happened. The most we even spoke about it was him calling me daddy's spoiled baby and telling me we weren't going to try that anymore. He said I had better get used to this suite and was relieved. Walking into that situation with all those other girls was just awkward vibes for me. I was way too possessive to be surrounded by and sharing my man with a handful of bitches. Excuse me. So she already knew that these girls were dating R. Kelly as well. Wow. That brainwashing must have been a very, 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 very successful one. It just wasn't me, and if he wanted me, which he clearly did, who told you he did? He just wanted you to be. Ugh. Which he clearly did. He knew he would have to handle me differently. From the time I walked in there, I kept feeling like something was walking through me. I had goosebumps. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I was uneasy. The dim light, the workers who refused to speak, it felt like a million eyes were wrongfully placed on me, and you should have seen them. They were like this little fucking puppet. Anything he wanted, they jumped to do it. No matter how awkward or odd the request. I literally watched this man tell one of them to get on all four and crawl to him with a dog, and they did it. Like a dog, and they did it. I even watched him punish two of them for not performing to his liking. I could never. I mean, sure, I was a freak and all, but it was something about the way he handled them and something about the way they behaved that just wasn't normal. He was beyond being starstruck. This was beyond being starstruck. Looking at them was like looking at an empty canvas with no soul, no opinion, no nothing. It was almost as if they were brainwashed. It was scary. Of course they were brainwashed. What are you talking about? And I recognized immediately that we were not the same. As the day went on, Daddy assigned me a bodyguard. Ugh, ooh. Or at least that's how it was presented to me. He told me whenever he couldn't be there, this guy would protect me and make sure all my needs were met. Made sense to me at that time, so I agreed. Well, we'll call this bodyguard Ray, and Ray was cool. He's the reason curiosity didn't kill me. He wasn't supposed to talk to me, but let's just say he kept me well informed. He explained to me why the other guys were always so weird, acting around me and never spoke. He let me know they were following direct orders from Daddy. They weren't supposed to speak to or look at me. Just make sure I was there. I was where I was supposed to be, with whom I was supposed to be, when I was supposed to be, doing what Daddy approved of, and they were always to report back. Our convos were to be strictly through text and only in regards to food orders or supply requests. It's safe to say Ray broke all those rules. We got really close during our time together, and for some reason, I never worried about him running back telling Daddy the things I said. We had a bond, and he really felt like family. I remember him telling me Daddy must really care about me because a lot of the things I get away with wouldn't fly normally. He told me Daddy had never accommodated a girlfriend and separated them from others to please her. He told me I was lucky anyway because the things that go on behind closed doors with those other chicks and him was sickening. Okay, that's somebody giving her direct confession. Okay. I didn't know what he meant by but I didn't want to know either. So I made him promise to never mention the girls to me. I just wanted to focus on me and Daddy and pretend they didn't exist honestly. With all of them in that house, you wanted to pretend like they didn't exist. Where don't ma? Okay. Where were we? I didn't know how he was treating them, nor did I care. His actions in my mind at the time showed he was dedicated, and I was without a doubt his favorite girl. Okay, that's you in your head. Don't you say no. Another chapter. Yeah, life couldn't have been any better for me at this point. I felt like I was on top of the world. Things were just too good to be true. Daddy and me were spending lots of time together. He was always doing and saying the sweetest things and showering me with gifts, designer bags, shopping spree. It was like every girl's dream. I never had much growing up and I didn't know my parents. It was always just me and my grandma. So imagine me being showered with all of these compliments, affection and gift. There wasn't anything he wouldn't do for me, and I was pleased. Sexually, I was now a butterfly. He had me more open than I'd ever thought I could be, and it felt good. My confidence level was through the roof in all areas, and I was always glowing. Then there was this one night. I think that it felt like he had been doing enough of what I wanted to do, and it was time for me to do things his way. He shipped me a text and told me to head over to a suite a few levels above mine. So I did, and what I found there was in no shape, form, or fashion what I imagined. I knocked 3 times as always, and Daddy answered the door. From what I could see, it was dark as hell. And there were candles burning. He didn't speak, just kissed me. Oh. And opened my robe to make sure I was naked as he requested. And I was naked with black stilettos on. He seemed pleased. He cornered me right by the door, started sucking my nipples and fingering me. It felt so good. I just leaned back and closed my eyes. I couldn't control my moans. He took his fingers out of me and slid them in my mouth so I could taste my juices. My juice. Wow. I told him it tastes good and then tongue-kissed him so he could see. Immediately after, he cuffed and blindfolded me and then led me into the dark room. He stopped me and told me to touch my toes. I bent over and did as I was told. I could feel him spreading my ass cheeks, smacking them, and eventually I felt his tongue and lips biting and kissing my ass all over. And then I felt his tongue and lips all over my pussy, or so I thought. The hands I felt touching me weren't manly as all this time, and then I heard moans, female moans. I heard Daddy say, "Oh, fuck, yeah, put it in her ass and put her on the bed. I want a clear shot of this shit. I want both of you to fuck her, eat her pussy. You finger her and you better not stop. Even if she begs, don't stop till I tell you to." Wow, au début de commencement. So it's at this time that she started experiencing the threesomes and the sex videos and all of that. Okay. I felt one of them shove their finger in my ass. I felt like she put something inside, but before I knew it, I didn't feel like myself. Something was happening. My pussy was already a river flowing. I instantly became 10 times wetter. I felt like I broke out into a cold sweat, but I felt so good. It felt like one more leak would make me climax. Still coughed, they laid me down. Understand this was in no way what I thought I would be doing in this suite, but I swear I couldn't speak. Her head had me gripping the sheets above my head. It was so fucking good. All I could get out was moans. I felt the other fingering me and I found myself guiding her. Fuck, oh shit, right there, go faster. Oh my fucking God, I'm gonna come. Why are you putting God in this? I could hear Daddy moaning too. I was in ecstasy. When I woke up, the girls were gone and Daddy was sitting down smoking and drinking. I stretched, yawned, and went to sit next to Daddy on the couch. He asked me how I slept and poured me a shot. He handed me a pill and told me he wanted to try something a little different. I saw a line of coke on the table. Woo! So he did drugs too. Wow. At the time, I had no idea, but Daddy told me to snort, and as I told him, I slept real good. I downed the pills, the brown, and snorted the line. Daddy instantly went to kissing and licking on me. He was rock hard. I could feel it, and judging by the pill, that line and the drink, I knew it was gonna be a long night. Daddy instructed me to play with my pussy while he touched himself. I did as I was told. My hand was was covered in my juice in no time, and Daddy came to relieve me. He ate it while staring at me in my eyes. I told him I wanted some of Daddy's dick in my ass. He looked surprised. Hell, so was I, but he didn't hesitate to beat this pussy up and flip me over. I felt Daddy snort a few lines off my ass cheeks. He cleaned my rear end with his tongue, and the rest was history. My God. Okay. Love Lane. From there, it was on. We went on tours every night. Every night there were so many girls, so many drinks, so many drugs, so much sex. First it was the weed, then the MDMA and coke. Liquor was always in heavy rotation. He kept me so high / intoxicated that oftentimes I couldn't tell one day from the next. Wow, your life was already fucked up, man. All I knew for sure is that there would be more partying and more sex. And as long as I was under the influence of something, I was always in a good mood. I remember before every encounter, he would fix me eggs or coke and say, "You ready to go to the love lane, baby?" He fucked me in the sprinter, in dressing rooms, restrooms and suites, studios, strip clubs, anywhere we were was a potential sex scene. He fingered me at dinner tables, under blankets while traveling, made me suck his dick in front of employees. Wow. He kept me open and ready. Mine tore. Me tore he had me so open I began scouting new girls for us to play with, as he called it. Wow. That's about the process of him making you recruit more girls for the sex called blah blah blah. Okay. I had upgraded from the little girl who just laid back and took shit. I was now dominating bitches in bed. I was eating pussy ass and fucking daddy any way he liked. I didn't know who I was becoming. All I know is it felt good. I was daddy's little freak. I did what I was told, occasionally talked back and fulfilled all of his sexual desires. We fucked so many bitches together. I lost count. Anybody he wanted, we did, including my ex best friend and cousin. What just happened to my laptop? I'm sorry, guys. Who, including my ex best friend and cousin. Role playing with tutus and sexy schoolgirl uniforms were his favorite. Oh, he liked the look of seduction wrapped in innocence, or at least that's what I convinced myself it was at the time. So that explains why he really liked little girls. I mean, the whole schoolgirl uniform and everything. You all remember there was a time people said he used to go back to his former high school to pick up young girls from there, or underage girls from there to go have sex with them. So it's just about the same thing she's trying to explain. After every encounter, he would always carry me to the bed and give me head or fuck me until I nodded what felt like a million times. He would always whisper to me how happy I made him and feed me more liquor or drugs. I used to black out a lot back then. I'm guessing from all the alcohol consumptions. I was broken memory of our sexcapades during the height of my drug use, but certain things he used to say will never leave me. It's imprinted in my head. This tight little pussy. Ooh, daddy loves this tight young. Daddy loves his little young fat pussy. You drive me crazy, baby. I love you so much. Daddy told you he would always make you feel good, right? All you ever need is daddy to make you feel good. You make daddy so happy, baby. My little princess, my little freak. So the whole freak thing actually came from daddy himself. I always remember hearing these words before I slipped into what felt like a temporary coma. He always whispered it to me while feeding me long strokes. I loved his dick, and even more while flying, I was jet high. I remember one night specifically, he had just left the strip club late from an orgy with 5 dancers. I came so many times I could barely walk upon exiting. I ate more pussy that night than I have ever had, and I liked it. Me and one dancer enjoyed ourselves a little too much. I don't know how many body shots or blunts we had, but we bumped coochies until there was literally a huge puddle underneath us. Daddy loved it. While we fucked, he watched us. He took one dancer from behind. He had a mouthful. Okay, I'm trying to understand something. During all of this thing, sleeping with this one, having this one, and I'm not sure these people were using protection, for crying out loud. Oh my God. Okay, he was hitting this pussy and 2 others sucked on his dick and balls as he went in and out. Meanwhile, Ray taped it and jacked his dick. Ray. Wow, that's supposed to be the bodyguard that the R. Kelly had for her. Okay. After we left, I remember being in the sprinter and him laying me down. He touched all over me. He began to massage my clit and asked me how I felt about sex with other men. I remember faintly asking him through months how he wanted me to feel, and he said, "That's a that's a good girl." I got some I got something waiting for us in the suite. Upon our return, he had Ray carry me to the room. I remember him tossing me over his shoulders. The staff knew us well, so there was no cause for alarm with my half-conscious body thrown upon his shoulder. When we entered the suite, Ray gently laid me down. I expected him to leave per usual, but he took off his jacket, shoes as if he were getting comfortable. Daddy did the same. They poured up and smoked a stogie. I remember Ray asking him if he was sure I was ready for this. Ooh, wow, this is getting serious, I swear. Oh, yeah, she is ready. Okay. Daddy stood up and stripped from head to toe. I'm not sure if they thought I was laying there blacked out, but my eyes were wide open in amazement because the next thing you know, Ray was giving Daddy head. Ooh! I lay there and listened to them both moan. Both moan. Now I knew Daddy watched gay porn, but in all our encounters, this was a first. He signaled Ray to stop and strip, then headed over to me. I shut my eyes. He gave my pussy a big wet kiss and my body shivered. Then he played with my clit and kept whispering, "Wake up, baby." I stretched and opened my eyes. He told me to come sit on Daddy's dick. Okay. Let me explain a few things. You remember there was a lady that talked about, one of the ladies that is in the documentary about R. Kelly. She said R. Kelly is not bisexual, he's not straight, he's gay. He's gay, and he likes to use women like that. So she actually called out this guy. I'm going to look for the guy's name. I'll put it in the description below. She called out this guy and said that guy is R. Kelly's steady gay lover. So I'm thinking this is the same guy because he's the same one that has been recruiting girls for R. Kelly. So I'm thinking this is the same guy. I'm going to find his name by the end of this video, and then it's going to be in the description box. You can check on him he's on Instagram and Facebook. Okay. Oh, all right. Where was I? I looked around but saw no Ray. Where did he go? I thought, but Daddy shifted my dress over my head. I was so wet. Daddy slid in and filled my walls with no difficulty. We both moaned as I dipped and grind on his dick. I kept moaning and said, "Daddy, I love you." He said, "Do you?" And my response through moans was, "Of course I do." "Yes, Daddy." He started to fuck me back and said, "Well, show me. Come here, Ray." Wow. I looked around with a shocked face, and to my surprise, Ray's dick stood at attention in my face, and it was huge. My eyes grew wide, and Daddy stroked me gently and told me to relax. He told me he shared everything with Ray, and now it was time for me to share some of my good stuff with Ray. Okay. So this girl who has signed a non-disclosure with R. Kelly not to tell everything that happened in that house, she was the one who finally stopped the payment and decided to tell the story. So in her own story, she said, I bought her book also, so I'm gonna have time to read it. We'll find time to do it. I'll do the same like I'm doing this one. She said she had an affair with this same guy that is Ray per se, that's he's supposed to be R. Kelly's gay lover. So she actually also had an affair with him. So I'm thinking, because when she said she had an affair with him, I was thinking like a one-on-one affair. It might as well just have been something like this one. I mean, sleeping with or having a threesome, including this Ray guy. So it makes more sense to me right now. Okay. He told me he shared everything with Ray, and now it was time for me to share some of my good stuff with him. He told me we were a family, and family made each other feel good. Ray began to gently kiss my shoulders and whispered, "You don't know how long I've been waiting for this." Then he picked me up and carried me to the bed. I didn't know what to do. I liked Ray and all. He had grown close, but I never thought in a million years would be. And then he stroked his face in my pussy. Oh my God, his head. It was driving me crazy. Fuck, it was so good. I was terrified to mourn. Daddy was the only man I'd ever been with, and I knew his temper. I remember asking Daddy if he was sure it was okay. He shook his head. Yes. Laid back and jacked his dick while filming. Always making videos. Always. To come back and watch them or what? I really don't understand. Okay. Ray got up and eased his dick in me. His eyes rolled in the back of his head as he went in mourning. He laid okay. As he went in mourning, he laid on top of me. Oh my God. My laptop keep doing this. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. He laid on top of me and long stroked me as he kissed me so passionately. After a 10 count, I found myself throwing it back and he was thrusting deeper and deeper. He growled in my ears. He was so fucking manly. It turned me on. His scent, those tattoos and chocolate skin and that huge fucking dick. He was everything. He kept saying fuck. As he went faster and faster, he was whispering my name while his arms shook and he found himself no longer in push-up position over me but laid lazily on my shoulder. He never stopped stroking though. He kept whispering, fuck, this pussy so good, girl. Ooh, I see why this nigga. I just lay back in total ecstasy and took every inch Ray had to give. I wrapped my legs around him and pushed his ass deeper in me with my feet. I wanted all of that good meat. I didn't want him to ever stop. We didn't hear any part of any kind of protection. So these people have been going meat, as in without protection. Alright, that's crazy. That's a story for another day. I actually have a story somebody sent to me about contracting HIV because he trusted the guy she was dating. I'll come back with that story on in another video. Daddy's dick was good, but he was everything. Those fucking girls had me nodding all over the place. He sucked and licked on my titties, then started sucking on my neck and it drove me crazy. He whispered in very low voice that he was gonna put his name in this pussy, cause it was his now. Then he started tongue kissing me. I almost forgot Daddy was in the room until I saw him hovering over us. He smacked Ray on the ass and said, that's enough. But something got into Ray and he didn't stop. Daddy said, Ray, that's enough. Ray was growing and taking this pussy. All I could do was claw Ray back because I was about to come. Daddy yelled, nigga, that's enough. What the fuck? But I was mourning, Ray, don't stop. And he didn't until he nodded. Then he looked me in my eyes and kissed me on the lips. I was so fucking turned on. Daddy looked like he wanted to kill Ray. And Ray gave him a look like, what, nigga? But Daddy's request, they entered the other room. I just stayed put. Shortly after, Daddy called me into the other room where I found Ray laid out naked on the bed. Daddy cuffed my ass and picked me up. He kissed me and put himself inside me right where he stood. He fucked me real good before tossing me in the bed next to Ray. He told Ray to get up and he laid down and signaled me to get on top. So I did. Daddy smacked my ass as if I needed to get on my job. So I put him inside me and began to ride. I could feel the warmth from Ray's body behind me, and when I felt what felt like Ray thrusting, I quickly looked back and I was riding Daddy. Ray was fucking him in the ass. Wow. I was shocked. She was shocked. I was shocked as well. Okay. The only thing I'd ever seen go in Daddy's ass was that dildo. Okay. It's coming out. That other girl, all of the other ladies said the same thing. Now that brings us to the fact that he's gay. I know he told me the male G-spot was back there, but this was next level. I know my thoughts were written all over my face. Ray leaned up and started kissing my neck and rubbing my breast from behind. I just kept writing. I told myself I had to stop thinking so much and just live in the moment. Ray started fondling my cleats while I rode Daddy's dick, and I squirted everywhere. By the time the sun came up, there was a dick resting in my pussy and another in my ass. Wow, these people are so nasty, I swear. My God, I had just had sex with two bisexual men. I liked it. He had created a fucking monster. Let's be real now. That's the next chapter. Okay, we're almost done. Funny how time flies when we are having fun, right? Allow me to share the morning of my 18th birthday with you. We were just getting off a tour. I just so happened to wake up before Rob one morning, which rarely happens because he rarely sleeps. But I went to the bathroom and there was so much pain. I looked at my area and saw what looked like blisters at the entrance. Of course, why would there not be blisters at the entrance when you're fucking the whole time? I freaked the fuck out. Rob walked in and asked me what was wrong. I started crying as I showed him. I told him I needed to go to the doctor ASAP, like I was really freaking out. He told me to calm down and he would call his in-house physician. Daddy doesn't do hospitals. I really wanted to go alone, but he wouldn't let me. He said people knew I was his girl, and because he's a celebrity, they'll do creep shit like try to sell my hospital record, etc. So I agreed to be seen by this in-house doc. We'll call him Dr. Smith. Okay. It was so awkward laying on a hotel bed getting checked by some strange white man. But I was dying to know what was wrong. I was only 18 and had never had so much as a yeast infection. I was so scared. When Dr. Smith finished his examination, he wrote some things down and treated me as if I was an infant. He didn't tell me what he had found. He went to Daddy. He gave Daddy the medication and told him everything that needed to be done. I pissed, hello, like what the fuck? I was pissed, hello, like what the fuck? So I impatiently harassed Rob about the results. He just looked pissed and sat in the corner, looking out the room window. He slid me the paper without looking at me. I quickly snatched it. Hell, he had barely read anything, so I didn't know why the hell the doctor gave it to him. He can barely read anything. Okay, you all know that R. Kelly doesn't read or write. So my stomach dropped as soon as I read it. I couldn't believe this. I had never seen anything other than a mole or on his dick. Was I reading this correctly? Then the tears started flowing and all I could do was ask him why. He didn't say a word. He just kept looking out the window. I started yelling and screaming. Look at me, Rob. Look at me. Why? Answer me, damn it. I knew he knew. I just knew he fucking knew. Now could he do this to me and then sit there like he didn't even fucking care? This was my life. It was some shit I would have to live with forever. I couldn't believe it. And do you all know he never even looked at me? No eye contact, no explanation. Once I stopped yelling and just laid down, sobbing in my pillow, he got up from the chair, sat with my back turned to him. You said you wanted me, right? And everything that came with me. Now you got it. Deal with it. Okay, I'm going to read this last sentence again. You said you wanted me, right? And everything that came with me. Now you got it. Deal with it. I'm thinking, okay, you all know R. Kelly has herpes for as long as we all can ever remember. So I'm thinking this is the part that the girl gets it and she's pissed because of course for him to say that you wanted me and you wanted everything that comes with me, so it means he knew that he had it and he knew exactly what he was doing to her. So okay, I'll make sure you get your medicine. And just like that, he left the room, slammed the door, and we never discussed our condition again. I remember I tried to bring it up once before a session we had with these two chicks he had me recruit. Okay, so that's her recruiting new people. If they don't ask you, don't tell them. And if they do ask you, tell them no, there's nothing to tell. So he just goes about hiding this. Like, even if the girls ask, he told her to tell them, like, not to tell anything, like there's nothing to tell. Meaning, he went out doing all of these things, infecting people with his incurable disease willfully. So he was in some kind of revenge mission, if I can put it that way. After over a year, I was finally meeting the real him, cold-blooded. Oof, my God. Okay, down low. We're on page 49, so I'm just gonna do this one page and we're done. My eyes are hurting. Meanwhile, Daddy had for sure started some shit I honestly didn't know how to keep. For 6 months, me and Ray crept around. Every day Daddy left, Ray would leave, post, and break all his damn rules. I remember the very first time. Daddy left for his normal all-nighter at the studio. I heard the door open, and as I was drying off in the bathroom, I thought for sure maybe he would forget something. He had forgotten something. Wow. This book. Okay. But as I bent over to dry my legs, I smelled Ray's cologne, and then I felt him push up behind me. Ray was always so gentle with me. He knew just what my body needed. But most of all, he knew just what I needed. I was so torn, and it was odd. I was like, Ray had changed. He was still very protective of me. But he definitely didn't seem like much of a fan of Daddy these days. He filled me up with information per usual, but this information terrified me and couldn't help but question if he had just made these things up because he had fallen for me. He went against my initial request of not mentioning the girls to share horror stories of Daddy locking them up, stabbing them for days, beating them, and even told me, in addition to the live-in girlfriends, Daddy was helping run a sex trafficking ring and kept a larger amount of girls in an abandoned warehouse he purchased under a runner's name. Wow. I was so confused. He painted Daddy to be this monster, and for the most part, I felt like it was bullshit. But something in my gut, as crazy as it sounds, believed it. Wow. Okay, I don't know if I should read. Okay, I'm just gonna do 8 more minutes and make it a 1-hour video. My behavior around Daddy began to change. I would jump when he would move his hands. Everything made me nervous. Those stories had me bugging. I started paying extra close attention to everything he did, said, his body language, just everything. I didn't take any of the drugs he fed me anymore. I would just fake it and spit it out when he wasn't looking. I took Ray's advice and no longer allowed him to fix my food. I didn't eat or drink anything he gave me. Ray told me he had been drugging me the majority of the time through food and drinks, and that's why I was always so tired and blacked out so much. It was crazy, but now that I was paying attention and making changes, I did feel a lot better. I had plenty of energy, and my thought process and memory were spotless, unlike before. When I was with Daddy, I would just stare at him like, who the hell is this nigga, man? I knew he fought. I knew we fought before. But I always knew I was crazy as hell and had a mouth that could make a nigga want to slit my throat. I could really be a bitch when I wanted to be. But damn, could he really be beating these bitches and locking them up? Nah, he couldn't be. But then again, this was the same man who knowingly gave me an incurable disease. I told you guys, okay, showed no compassion and told me to deal with it. I remember asking Ray if all this mess was true. How could he live with himself basically helping this man kidnap and abuse young girls? Okay, now for the record, this book was written in 2000, or it was published in 2016, 2 years before the whole R. Kelly documentary thing came up, and was aired in 2019. So I do not think that these stories are just being made up. Like some people are saying, oh, they're trying to frame R. Kelly and all of that bullshit. Okay. Some things are easy to get into and harder to get out of. Your daddy has some pretty dangerous gang affiliations, and niggas really do come up missing behind a lot of shit. My mama always told me to ease my way out of the lion's mouth. If I took nothing else from my time with Ray, those words were imprinted in my mind. Always ease your way out of the lion's mouth. I had no idea what conversation would be my last with Ray. I never saw him again. And when I asked Daddy what happened, he said what happened to him, he never answered me. Okay, guys, we have 5 more minutes to go, but this book is getting more interesting. I can't sleep if I woke up from what I felt like the best nap ever. Daddy always drained and put me to sleep. I went to use the restroom, ignoring his latest odd request of me urinating in that bowl. Wow. Okay, let me explain this. Now, does this or in the story that or in the documentary they said that R. Kelly will make these girls to pee in bowls or cups, and then he would give it to this Jamaican lady who does voodoo for him to charm the girls, to keep them, to hypnotize them more, or make them stay with him. Like the girls cannot leave him. If you're following the story, there's a girl called Jocelyn Savage. Like she looks like she has been totally brainwashed. That she has been charmed. She can't. She actually is talking against her family right now. She's telling people she doesn't want to be with her family. She just wants to stay with R. Kelly and all of that. So I'm believing that this is the beginning of it, like making them to pee in bowls. And I remember one time TMZ reported that R. Kelly, like hotels complain of, like when R. Kelly, wow, what's going on? When R. Kelly stays in a hotel room with these girls, by the time the cleaners, or when they leave the hotel and the cleaners come to clean up, they notice cups of empty cups that have urine in it. Probably they used it for the voodoo thing and then they abandon it there. So, all right, I might as well just continue. In the bowl, I thought it was ridiculous, and he knew from past experience when I had my mind made up about something, there was no changing it. I yawned, rubbed my eyes, and stretched my body out. It was quiet, so I figured Daddy left. I went on to tackle my usual shower routine, brush my teeth, wash my hair, face, you know the drill. After my shower, I made my brushing my teeth. Daddy appeared. He hugged me from behind and kissed me gently on my shoulder, neck, and cheeks. He told me how beautiful I was and how lucky he was to have me. This man is such a liar. He always knew just what to say to make me blush or smile. I turned around to hug him, but I noticed he looked a little different. There was one thing I know about him, it's that he hides behind those shades. I went to the glasses and he stopped me. I went for the glasses and he stopped me. But I snatched them off anyways. When I looked in his eyes, I could tell he had been crying. He immediately hung his head low. It's crazy, but when it came to him, my motherly instincts instantly kicked in. Sure, look at this one. I always wanted to protect him at all costs. With his face in the palm of my hands, I lifted his head and kissed him 100 times. I could taste the salt from his tears. But I didn't care. He was hurting, and that meant I was hurting too. I didn't know what was wrong, but I never forced him to talk. I understood it was hard for him to open up, but I knew when he was ready he would. He hugged me so tight I thought he was breaking my ribs, but I knew he needed me. I just rubbed him gently and told him I was there and that I wasn't going anywhere. He picked me up and took me to the bed. He made love to me, and during he cried. What kind of person is that? Okay. I wanted to know what was on his mind so bad, but I just wiped his tears and let him have me any way he wanted. Afterwards, we just laid there quietly watching the ceiling fan. After about 10 minutes, he finally began to talk. He told me he was scared. He told me he had been a long time since he felt how he felt about me anymore, about anyone. He told me he knew what I thought about him and all these women, but he honestly had no feelings attached. He said his greatest fear is being alone, so he had been trying to fill his void, but it seems like no matter how many women he's had, it's never filled. But then there is you. He told me I challenged him. You don't let me just do anything, everything to you. You're strong and I can be myself with you. You've accepted me for everything that I am, and you never judged me or made me feel bad. But baby girl, I'm feeling like I'm falling in love with you. So yeah, not falling in love with her that time. What's this one talking about? I'm scared. I'm falling in love with you and I'm scared. I'm scared you leave me and I know I can't handle it if you do. I can't even sleep unless I know you are near. Okay, you guys, I'm going to stop on page 54. When next I come to do this, I'm sure I'm going to do right to the last page if we have enough time. So thank you all for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, like this video, and I'm gonna bring the end. But before that, I'm working on having my regular gossip stories or gossip videos every Friday. I'll put in the time on Instagram so you all will know. I'm working on editing my videos myself because I definitely will be bringing stories and pictures, receipts, and everything. So I'm actually doing a lot of work. When the next video or the next gossip video drops on Friday, you'll notice the difference. But I'll be bringing videos on many other different things. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to have you on the blog, on the channel next time. Thank you so much.